Good morning, everybody at home. God bless you. Yes, it's been a fantastic time of worship here in the house this morning.
Yeah.
And you know, we have been interceding for family members with COVID this week, and we have seen some really great answers to prayer.
Oh, yeah.
And God is on the throne. As much as he was 2,000 years ago, he is today. And he's hearing and answering our prayers. So be aware of that, boys and girls. When you pray, God hears you and he answers. Wow. I wonder what sort of a week you're having at home, or what sort of a week you've had, boys and girls, here in the fellowship. Wow, it's been one of those weeks, hasn't it? Lots of things happening. But you know, I wonder how many of you have been on a boat or a ship. Have you been on a boat or a ship, Isaac, Joel? Hands up. Yeah, you have? Oh, I wonder if it was a nice boat, or whether it went like this. Oh, I remember years ago, Pastor Phil took us as a family down the river. And oh, what a day it was. The sun was like this. It was in the summer. It was beautiful. And all the willow trees. It was magnificent to see the birds on the river, to hear the sounds in the country. It was fantastic. And then he took me to Ireland on the boat over the Irish Sea. Oh. My mum was very ill and she was dying, in fact, and we were going over to Ireland back and forth a number of years ago. And he said to me, shall we go over in the car on the boat? And I said, like a fool, yes, okay, why not? We had just started the journey and a storm blew up. And it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. In the restaurant, things were flying everywhere and the boat was going up. And then you could feel it splashing back down again. It was going up. And my stomach, oh man, I found a toilet. They say the best place to be in a boat when you're feeling ill is in the middle. Okay, know that. It's very important. And generally the toilets are in the middle. So I sat with my head between my knees for several hours. Oh, but it made no difference. And for 3 days, I was feeling absolutely dreadful afterwards. Have I been on a boat to Ireland since then? No. No. And he said to me last week, because we were planning on going to Ireland this year, but it's not going to happen. He said, shall we go on the boat and take the caravan? What do you think my response was? No. And he was so keen. He said, look, it would be great.
Let's have a democratic decision on this. How many people we should go on the boat?
It's a man, you horrible people.
Yeah.
Even oh, nobody loves me. Oh, how dreadful. The thought of it. The Irish Sea is horrendous. Even at the best of times, it's horrendous. Anyway, that takes us to our story today, where we had another storm. It was the evening of a very busy day in which Jesus had taught 5,000 people. And miraculously had fed all of these people. And there would have been women and children there as well. So it would have been about 10,000 people. And Jesus told his disciples to get in the boat and to go back to Capernaum, where he would join them later. After dismissing the crowds, Jesus slid away and he went up into the mountains to pray. As it got dark, Jesus could see the disciples had rowed, because he was up so high in the mountain, he could actually see the lake. And he could see the disciples had rowed 3 to 4 miles, or 5 to 6 kilometers if you are young people, not old like me. And they were straining at the oars as the wind was against them and the waves were buffeting against the boat, making it really difficult for the disciples to row the boat. And shortly before dawn, Jesus finished praying. See that, folks? He was in prayer all evening and all night. He spent such a time in prayer, and that's what you need to do all the time. And started walking the quickest way back to Capernaum, across the sea. Who would have thought? He decided not to go around the lake, but he would walk across it. How fantastic is that, to meet the disciples? He was going to walk past the boat. Why, we have no idea. But the disciples spotted him. It's a ghost, they cried out in terror. Jesus said, be brave, don't be scared, it's only me. Oh, hang on a minute, I missed a bit. You don't miss the most important bit.
No, you haven't missed it.
Lord, it is you, Peter cried. Tell me to walk on the water towards you, and I will. Whoa, good old Peter again. So Peter steps out of the boat and starts walking on the water towards Jesus. And then, ooh, but he heard the sound of the wind and he saw the waves splashing up against him and he began to doubt. And as he began to doubt, he began to sink. Good old Peter. Immediately, he said to the Lord, save me, he cried out. And Jesus just reached out his hand. Can you imagine it? Jesus just reached out his hand and pulled him up out of the water. It's just fantastic, isn't it? Mm. And Jesus said to him, you of little faith, why did you doubt? And Jesus lifted Peter into the boat and climbed aboard to join his disciples. The disciples were utterly amazed and worshiped Jesus. You really are the Son of God. It take them up to this point to realize that, I think. They explained. Almost immediately, the boat reached the shore. As they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus and started bringing those who were sick to him. All those who touched the edge of his clothes were healed. And of course, that reminds us of the story of the lady who has loss of blood for 12 years. And she knew and believed that if she just touched the edge of his garment, she would be healed. How phenomenal is that? That is some faith. And so people who just believed that if they touched him, they would be healed. And they were. And this is the wonderful thing about Jesus and about prayer. Just don't give up in prayer. Just persist. Sometimes we have to storm the gates of heaven in prayer to get our answers. Now, so I'm doing that thing, aren't I? My nose is itchy. All right. So there we have it. A time of prayer, a time of healing, a time of doubt. But we must always put our trust in Jesus, boys and girls and young people, and trust in him to see us through the difficult times, whether it's at school or college or wherever it is. We need to pray and put our trust and faith in Jesus, because that's what it's all about. It's trusting in him, no matter what comes our way. And boy, have we had some things thrown at us over the years. God is able to see us through all those difficulties, like that song we sung this morning. Those songs were just amazing this morning. So boys and girls and young people, what we're going to do in craft today, we're going to make a mobile phone. We're going to make a mobile phone, which is going to be a bookmark. So away you go, have fun, and we'll see you at the end. And don't forget the older ones, that's Isaac and Emmanuel. There's a scripture for you to put on there and to remember, okay, to learn. Off you go then, have a wonderful time and see you later. Bye-bye.